wagon going at the moment?
Yeah, no, a very fair question. Well, not so light touch, I think. I mean, I think one of the great lessons, from the 19th century and the early 20th century in the States is good antitrust can make a big difference. And of course, that was what all the Standard Oil. That's why people called data the new oil, because they look back to that period. And of course, what they're trying to think of is, well, data, once you've monopolized it, is extremely valuable. Well, this is what worries me. And I mentioned it earlier, that the FANGs have access uniquely to huge quantities of data. And, the big issue for me, and Professor Jason Furman, did a very useful report 18 months ago. He recommended a digital markets unit within our Competition and Markets Authority. And where, the government have sort of, started that process. I don't think they're being vigorous enough yet, but I think the proof of the pudding is in the eating as to whether or not the CMA adopts a much more rigorous approach to data monopoly, because I don't think they've really grasped it yet. And that was what Jason Furman, who used to advise President Obama, advised us to do, quite rightly, because he looked at those kind of historical precedents too. So I think we know what needs to be done in terms of putting in that regulatory framework you talked about, which I think would be, absolutely the right thing to do. And you can therefore give room to breathe and access to data to a much greater extent to these startup companies and the growth companies. I mean, one of the issues for me is, do you just allow takeovers to go ahead, or do you say, no, strategically, what we've got to do is allow these companies to grow bigger, and help determine their own destiny? So do they need access to finance and so on? So although you're quite right, governments shouldn't own things, they can certainly enable things, and
Sure.
helping a healthy capital market. Maybe it'll never be as strong as Silicon Valley,